Now, reality is that's a non sequitur because what David is saying in this psalm is that it doesn't make sense for this mighty man to boast in evil when the steadfast love, the chesed of God, endures all the day. Now, there is some issues here textually. You look at this verse in the ESV, in the second half says, steadfast love of God endures all day. Makes sense. However, you turn to the NASB, some of you may have that in your translation. The second half of the verse says, the loving kindness of God endures all day long. Pretty much the same thing, just synonyms for the Hebrew word chesed. But you turn to the NIV, and you see something completely different, don't you? Why do you boast all day long, you who are a disgrace in the eyes of God? Wow, that's totally different. And then you turn to the NLT, the New Living Translation, and you read this. Don't you realize God's justice continues forever? You know what the difference between those two things are? The manuscripts, we have two different versions that exist. And you know what it boils down to? Two Hebrew words that have been written first, El for God, the Hebrew word El, and Chesed. And in some manuscripts it's El Chesed, and in others it's Chesed El. It's just a flipping of the words, and it changes the focus. And so that's why you see different things in different translations, depending on what manuscript they're going to tend to follow. The reality is, though, it really doesn't change the meaning of what David is saying here. Because what he's saying is this: what is it with you, O mighty man, he calls him. Some of your translations have a great warrior or mighty hero. The focus is, of course, this is a person who is a part of the community of God. And yet they are boasting. They are saying hallelujah. That's where we get our word. Boast, from that word, the Hebrew word that we translate boast, is a form of the word hallelujah. And they are saying this evil, whatever it is, this is what I'm going to really focus on instead of God's love, even though it's there for forever, all day long. Or on God's justice and judgment, because it's there all day long as well. You would think this individual of anybody should be aware of that. And that's the thrust of what verse 1 is saying. But we can clear it up a little bit more if we look at the next couple of verses, verses 2 through 4. Your tongue plots destruction like a sharp razor, you worker of deceit. You love evil more than good, and lying more than speaking what is right. You love all words that devour, O deceitful tongue. Now we're starting to get a little bit better understanding of what he means by evil. This is an individual that apparently uses their words to manipulate, to distort, to lie, to destroy, to promote themselves to get ahead, most likely. Tongues that plot destruction, like a sharp razor. I was telling the guys Thursday night about this, that I can remember at one point I was taking a shower and my wife had her razor, for her legs in the shower there, and it fell. I knocked it off and it fell into the shower, the tub part. So I picked it up and put it back up there. Well, it wasn't